Hello, 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 and welcome to another video. I'm Flora Sage, and today I want to help you get out of a funk. This election, COVID, this whole year has really given people a run for their money. I gotta tell you, it's challenging, even for us coaches, to be able to, feel that energy, to be able to decipher what's going on, and also to be able to use all these energies to our advantage. So today I want to help you get out of a funk if you're in it. So what's a funk? A funk essentially is when you feel kind of unmotivated to do something, you feel a little bit restless, you feel like you're living in the movie Groundhog Day, where it's just like the same days over and over and over and over again. So I have this really cool exercise. So I want you to get out a notebook of some sort, get out a notebook or just a piece of paper, and I want you to section off this piece of paper into 3 different sections, or if you have 3 different pieces of paper, that would be even better. So I'll wait just a hot minute. While we're waiting for people to get a piece of paper, I want you to post in the comments if you are watching this live or on the replay. If you're watching this live, go ahead and put hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and put hashtag replay in the comments, and then also share with me where you're tuning in from. And we will wait just a few moments for people to grab a piece of paper or 3. Yay! Hello, Christy. Hi, Thelma. Woohoo! Holly, Carrie, Darlene, Noah. Love it. Okay, so get out your notebook or 3 separate pieces of paper. Ooh, Thelma's joining us from Monterey, Tennessee. Love it. Okay, so this next thing that we're going to go through is actually called a blueprint for significant change. And that might sound scary. I know change sucks and change is hard, it's messy, but this is gonna help you get out of a funk. And this is in my upcoming book called The 1 Degree Shift. I actually have, I'll show you a copy or a picture of what the book looks like. The copy that I had, I actually sent to someone already, but this is what my book looks like. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. So, this is in my book. It's in chapter 3. So on the first piece of paper, I want you to write list 1 on the first piece of paper. Then I want you to write out the top 4 things that you spend the most time doing throughout the day. Okay? So this is outside of your occupation. So this could be scrolling on social media. It could be cleaning or cooking or taking care of kids or fur babies, whatever it is. So I want you to write out the top 4 things that you spend the most time doing. So I'll give you just a few moments. When you're done writing those top 4 things down, I want you to put done in the comments so that I know that you're finished, and then we'll go ahead and keep going. Hi, Diane. Yay! Love it. Hi, Wendy. Hi, John. So good. So write out the top 4 things that you spend the most time on throughout the day outside of work. Outside of work. Okay, so like I said, this could be looking at social media. It could be caring for your kids or caring for someone else in your life if you've got an elderly parent or someone. It could be social engagements. I mean, I don't know, now that we've got COVID. I mean, some states are open and some states aren't, so it just depends on where you live. But when you're finished, go ahead and write done in the comments so that I will know that we can move on. So good. I will have a sip of my coffee while I wait. So good. And you can just guess, if you don't really know, you can be like, well, the things that just kind of jump out at you that you know that you spend a lot of time on. So Christy's done, Carrie's done. Go ahead and let me know. Hello, Shelly. Hi, welcome. Holly's done. Okay, we'll wait for a few more people to say that you're done. And then we will move on. So this first list number 1, is writing out the top 4 things that you spend the most time on throughout the day, outside of your occupation. Thelma's done. Okay, so let's move on. On the second piece of paper, what I want you to do is I want you to write out, okay, so on the second piece of paper, I want you to write out list number 2, or if you have just a regular, just flat piece of paper, not flat piece of paper, really, they're all flat. Just 1 piece of paper instead of 3. Then, so you've got list 1, then, obviously right below put list 2. So list number 2 is going to be the 4 things that you routinely do each and every day. Shelly's done. So, okay, like I said, list number 2, write the top 4 things that you routinely do each day. So like you routinely have a cup of coffee. You routinely go for a walk. You routinely do this. So what 4 things, like come hell or high water, must you do every single day? Hi, Linda. Hi, Thomas. Hi, Leah. Yay. Yes, I think, yeah, I got this at Target. I love these Cambridge notes. They're awesome. So freaking good. I have these like all over my house. So list number 2 is the top 4 things, come hell or high water, that you must do every single day. Like I must take my supplements every day. Must have a cup of decaf coffee every single day. Must have enough water every day. So top 4 things. Once you're done with list number 2, go ahead and write complete in the comments. Complete in the comments. And these are things that you generally do not negotiate out of your day. So this could be reading a chapter, this could be doing a daily devotional, this could be listening to a podcast. But again, these are things that you generally do not negotiate out of your schedule. Could be going to the gym, whatever it might be. So when you're finished with list number 2, go ahead and write complete and put it in the comments. Woo woo. Hi, Alexa. Holly is complete. Nice. Shelly is complete. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Yes, this is outside of work. Yep, Carrie is complete. Sandy. Yay, Thelma is complete. So good. We'll wait for a few more people. I actually just did this past weekend because I felt like, I'm like, God, what should I do? I had the whole weekend to myself. I'm like, okay. So I did this and I'm like, okay, I'll put a puzzle together. All right, Christy is complete. Okay, so on the third piece of paper, or again, on the bottom part of the notebook, you've got list 1, list 2. Now this is list number 3. On the top of the third piece of paper, if you're using individual sheets of paper, write list 3. I want you to write out your top 4 priorities in your life. So these are the things that you must have that allow you to feel successful. Like, I must be financially independent, or I really truly, like, one of my priorities is to save money. One of my priorities is to be really fit and healthy. Whatever it is. So go ahead and write out your top 4 priorities in your life. And then when you're done, go ahead and type finished for list number 3. This could also be like, like I said, financial independence. This could be having a healthy lifestyle, whatever your priorities are, being a good parent, being a good partner, whatever that looks like for you, go ahead and put that down. When you are finished with list number 3, go ahead and write finished in the comments. And for those of you who are just tuning in, list number 1 is a list of your top 4 things that you spend the most time doing throughout the day outside of work. What you spend the most time doing throughout the day outside of work. So it could be social media, it could be cleaning or cooking or whatever it is, reading, whatever. List number 2 is those must-haves, like what come hell or high water will you do every single day? And these are usually your non-negotiables. So that's list number 2, your top 4 things. And then list number 3 is the top 4 priorities that you have in your life. So Carrie is finished, Thelma is finished, Holly is finished. All right, we'll wait for just a few more people to say finished. And then we will move on. But this is a super fun, super easy way to get out of a funk and to get out of a space of feeling like you're just kind of aimlessly wandering. And especially if you're not really feeling fulfilled or very purpose driven, you just kind of feel like I said, you're kind of in Groundhog Day over and over and over, and you're like, oh my God, seriously. And for those of you who haven't caught onto the reference of Groundhog Day, it's a movie with Bill Murray. If you haven't seen it, watch it. You're gonna love it. So Shelly is finished, Christy is finished. Okay, perfect. Now what I want you to do is I want you to lay out these 3 lists side by side by side. Look at them, and you should have them match up. So like I said, I did this past weekend. And so I want you to look at list number 1. So this is my list from this past weekend. So look at list number 1. How many of those things are in alignment with your list number 3? So list number 3 is your priority. So let's just say that health and wellness is one of your priorities. And let's just say that one of the things that you do every single day for the longest is like walking. Like I walk probably almost 2 hours a day with my dog. So that's one of the things that I put down as that I do all the time, that takes up a lot of my time throughout the day is walking. So some people find that they don't have anything from list 1 that correlates with list number 3. And that's okay. Just make note of anything from list number 1 that correlates with list number 3. So let's just say one of the things that you do to and from work is you listen to a book on tape, and it's like a personal development book. Well, maybe, education or personal development is one of the things that you have as your priority. So that matches up, okay? So let me know if this makes sense and if you have any that match. And so in the comments, I want you to type out how many of the 4 things that you put on list 1, how many of those matched up with list number 3. So it's either 1, 2, 3, or 4. So let me know in the comments if you had any, or it actually could be 0 too. Oftentimes people will have like either none or maybe 1 that matches from list 1 to list 4. So let me know in the comments 0 through 4, how many on your list 1 matched up with list number 3. Hello, Philip. How are you today? So let me know how many matched up in the comments. So, all right, so 0 for Thelma. Like I said, this is a really fun, interesting, very enlightening exercise to help you shift what you're doing throughout the day and help you shift to get out of a funk. So Shelly says she had 2. Holly said 2, okay. Carrie said 1, all right. We'll wait for a few more people. So I know that this can kind of be like a, oh my goodness. It's like, really? Some people get actually kind of pissed when they see this and they're like, fuck, I can't believe that I'm like totally not even dropping the ball. So Christy said, wow, I had one. Having an aha moment, spending too much time on things that aren't really a priority and aren't even helping in my work life either. It's distractions. Yes. Hello, Bethany. Okay, so now what I want you to do is I want you to look at your list number 2. Does your list number 2 match up with list number 3? So what I want you to do in the comments, I want you to tell me, I want you to put list 2 and then say how many in your list 2 matches up to your list number 3. Okay? So how many in your list number 2 match up and correspond with list number 3. So for me, I actually had all 4 things correspond to my list number 3. However, one of the things in my list 3, I had like no actions correlated with it. So I was like, shit. So, all right, so Christy said 2, okay. So how many from list 2 match up with list number 3? So Carrie says 1, okay. We'll wait for a few more people before we move on to list number 3. Hello, Elizabeth. Okay, so Shelly says list 2 match, okay. Christy said, yeah, no actions though, feel that, yeah. So Holly said 2, Thelma said, none again, I need your book. Okay, so now let's look at list 3, okay? So these are your priorities. Now, so oftentimes, I mean, and I've been coaching people for over 23 years. So many times when people write out their priorities, it's what they think they need to be focusing on instead of what they actually want to focus on, okay? So typically, the first time people do this exercise, they're like, oh my God, Flora, what the fuck? I can't believe, like, I have so little matching up. Like, this is not okay. So first and foremost, we need to look at what your true priorities are right now. Like, my priorities now that I'm an empty nester are very different than what they were when I was raising my babies, okay? So I want you to really look at what you wrote down as a priority and ask yourself, is this really a priority right now, or do I just think it needs to be a priority? I don't know. Ask yourself that and get really honest and just say, what I wrote down, is that truly a priority in my life right now? And if you really are just not really feeling it, you're like, I don't really think this is a real priority for me. Okay, cool. What do you want to be a priority now in your life? So Christy said, if I'm going to be honest, yes, my priorities have actually been on the back burner to the business, and the rest of and the rest is fluff and wasted time, and I can actually do maybe once a week. Perfect. Okay, so in looking at your priorities in list number 3, how many of these priorities that you have already listed do you want to keep as a priority? Because you can always change your priorities. Like, some people could change their priorities in the winter versus the summer. Like, when I was living in Wisconsin, one of my priorities in the winter was, come hell or high water, I had to sit in front of my sad lamp for at least an hour a day. If not, I would just get in a funk, and it was not okay. So although in the summer that switched from the sad lamp to being outside as much as I could so that I could get that natural sunlight. So how many, and you can put this in the comments, how many from list number 3 are you going to keep as your priority? It could be all 4, it could be none, or it could be maybe 1 or 2. So how many from list number 3 are you going to keep? So a sad lamp is seasonal affective disorder. Essentially it is, and you can Google these, you can look on Amazon, but they're actually just like a white box, like a metal box. Well, some of them are plastic, but they have like blue light bulbs, and they actually emit 10,000 lux in, like brightness. And so you can, sit in front of it like super close for like 10 minutes or 20 minutes, or far away for like an hour or whatever. But yeah, so because I have mild depression when I don't get outside. So that's why living in some place that is sunny is very important to me. One of the reasons why we moved to Arizona, because I love the sun and I need it for my well-being. So how many, and go ahead and post it in the comments, how many from list number 3 are you going to keep as a priority? And then we're gonna run through this exercise again. So, all right, Christy said, my last 4 is now scheduling family first, business second, and cleaning stuff can be done 1 or 2 days a week. Hang on. I keep scrolling. And then social media and Netflix stuff is my me time, and I need to schedule a Sabbath once a week, or a Sabbath once a week, or maybe every 2 weeks, just to have a me day. Nice. Hi, Nadine. Shelly said for lack of vitamin D also, yes. But if sad lamps won't produce vitamin D for you, you do have to take a D3 supplement if you are prone to mild depression or even panic or anxiety. But of course, I'm not a doctor. Please consult your doctor before taking any supplements. So Holly says she's going to keep all 4. Nice. Awesome. So go ahead and post in the comments, and then as soon as I see several people posting, then we're going to go back and redo this exercise, but in a little bit of a different spin. And like I said, this is one of the easiest ways to get out of a funk and to start to feel more purposeful and to start to have a life that's a little bit more meaningful, that feels a little bit more rich, if that makes any sense. So go ahead and share in the comments how many of your priorities that you wrote down that you're going to keep. This is good stuff, people. I love it. So Thelma said, need to redo them all. Okay. And Shelly says, hi, Kathy. Also keeping all 4, but need to change a priority of the 4. Nice, nice. Okay. So I want to share with you my priorities. I actually, again, all of this is in my book, which is coming out in January. The pre-sale is going to be very, very soon. And if you want a sneak peek into the content, then you can join the 1 Degree Shift tribe, which I will give you the link later on this week if you want to join, and you can already jump into the chapters. It's going to be awesome. Okay, so my priorities right now are family and friend connections. This is my kids, my family, and my partner. What does this look like? Okay, so what this looks like is, and again, this is list number 1 and 2 combined. Snapchat with my kids daily. They're 21 and 24. That is where they are. So I connect with them where they are at. So I Snapchat with them daily, like legit every day. And we FaceTime several times a week. I also write little sticky notes to my partner, and I write, kind of little random notes that I mail to my sisters, and I mail boxes to my kids all the time. I have lunch with my girlfriends. I can't have lunch with my sisters now because none of them live in Arizona, but that's part of it. Also travel to see my kids. Of course, outside of COVID, that makes it a little challenging. I did just see my youngest son this past weekend. And also go on weekly adventures with my partner. So this could be hiking, this could be antiquing, this could be going on a motorcycle ride. But that is how I build daily activities into my week and into my day that correspond with my first priority, again, which is my family and friend connection. That is one of my main priorities. So my second priority is wealth building, okay? This is through education and investments. And so how I integrate that into my day is I review my accounts every single day. I only buy on Amazon once a week, which is painful sometimes because it's like, you go on Amazon, you just, I'm going to put this in here, I'm going to put this in here, and you just start putting all the stuff in there, and then before you know it, you got a $300 cart. And so when you are really mindful and intentional about your investments and about in your wealth and your money and stuff like that, you're like, do I really need this, or was this an impulse buy? And then you can take the stuff out of the cart and only buy what you need or what you want and what's really going to serve you at this time. Another thing that I do to integrate this into my day is I listen to podcasts and audiobooks about wealth and finance and business building, because of course my business is helping people, and in that people hire me as their coach, and then that brings in some revenue, and then of course I invest part of that. I also meet with my financial advisor quarterly, which is huge. So another one of my priorities, this is my third priority, is my health. And this is both physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, the whole shebang. So what this looks like and how I integrate this into my day is I work out every single day. I stretch daily, I meditate, I walk my dog daily because that helps me get sunshine and all that other stuff. I take really good high quality supplements that I know work for me. And I reevaluate my supplements usually about every 3 months. I do muscle testing to see if I still need each of the supplements or if I still need as much or as little and how to regulate that. So I also try to eat very mindfully. I try not to eat extra food. And part of that is listening to my body and eating slower when I'm eating. And then another thing that is really, really important for me is to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep every single night. And if I don't get that every single night, then I make it a priority to take a nap that day, which is huge. So that's how I integrate that into my day. My fourth priority is being in a high vibe state of joy. So high vibe does not mean high energy, okay? High vibe essentially is how in flow you feel with life. Are you focusing on the shit show or are you focusing on the positivity? Are you focusing on what you're grateful and thankful for? Are you focusing on the opportunities instead of the obstacles? That's the difference between high vibe and the high energy thing. It's like, you know, somebody can be really high energy but be really just a shitty person and have very low dense energy. So in me being in that high vibe state and really focusing on and being very intentional about it, part of that, I've really had to focus on like, how can I stay a high vibe? How can I stay in that state of joy and ease and flow? So part of it is pre-planning my workday. Every single Monday morning, I do what's called Monday Hour 1. I learned this from one of my coaches. And I spend an hour just saying, okay, this is what I'm going to do this week. And then I pre-schedule all of it out. I only work Monday through Thursday. I don't work Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. That's my family time and that's me time. So I always prep my stuff. So all of my, breakfast stuff, I always prep the night before. That helps me stay in flow. I also keep my home clutter free. So every day I go through for at least 10 minutes and I just kind of spot clean the house. I put stuff away. I, declutter. And it literally takes 10 minutes. And when you do 10 minutes every day, it really adds up to your peace of mind and it really helps you to just kind of feel more like, okay, I'm good. You know what I mean? So another thing is I listen to upbeat music. I listen to music that makes me feel good, that I'm just kind of vibing that day. I talk with my kids almost every single day. I talk to my peeps. God, Goddess, whoever you talk to, I call them my peeps, but I talk to my peeps every single day. I also stop doing things when they feel icky or they feel funky or weird or they just feel off. I'm like, I'm gonna stop. And then I just kind of check in with myself and I'm just like, okay, all right, why does this feel funky? What can I do to fix this? How can I shift this? And again, it's allowing yourself to just recognize the energy as it is and recognizing that you can pivot just a little 1 or 2 degrees in order for you to shift out of that feeling of overwhelm or feeling like, I'm not vibing with what's going on here. And then the last thing is I avoid toxic situations and people, and I'm very, very mindful of that. So now that I just shared with you how I integrate my priorities into my day, what we're gonna do is we're gonna redo this list. And so for list number 1, what do you want to spend the most time doing throughout the day? Okay, outside of work. Now, I have 3 animals. I've got 2 cats. One is 16 and one is 15. They're geriatric, okay? So one of them, I think both of them have renal failure, which is very common in elderly cats. One of them, we've gotten his blood work done, and he has advanced renal failure. So they're on a special diet. So it feels, because like when I just did this past weekend, I'm like, oh my God, like caring for the animals. Because it's a lot. I mean, I have to feed them wet food 2 or 3 times a day. Having renal failure also involves nauseousness. And so the oldest cat, she's 16. We're actually getting her blood work done on Wednesday. She vomits a lot. And that's part of renal failure is nauseousness. So if she eats too much or if she doesn't eat fast enough, then she vomits. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So it's picking up cat puke and doing the litter box. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. And I do the litter box probably 3 times a day because I don't like a stinky litter box. But and to me, that was a little frustrating. But when I actually looked at it, I'm just like, we've had 16 and 15 years together with these animals. And like my dog, he's sitting here sleeping. He's 7 and I walk him several times a day. And that's, I think, more for me than it is for him. But when I looked at it, at first I felt frustrated and I'm like, no, you know, we probably only have a few more years left with the animals or, you know, like with the cats. And so looking at it in a different way and in a different perspective shifted my energy and my mindset about doing all the things that I do for them. You know, and my oldest cat, we have to brush every day, and this might be TMI and it might sound gross, but she can't lick her butt, so we have to take baby wipes and wipe her butt every time she goes to the bathroom, which is a lot, you know. But, so I mean, that's one of the things that I can't remove out of my list of things that I do every single day, but being mindful and shifting my mindset about how I think about doing it is huge. So I want you to write in list number 1, you know, well, actually, hang on. So let's kind of reverse engineer this. So list number 3, let's actually do list number 3 first. So now that you've like evaluated everything and you've heard some of my examples, maybe to give you some ideas, what now do you really truly want to have as your priorities at this stage in your life? And again, when you shift phases in your life, like when you're in college or single and in college, your priorities are much different than when you're married with kids or when you're in a partnership and you are an empty nester. Very different, very, very different. So recognize what phase of life that you're in. Okay, and this is regardless if you are a business owner or if you work for somebody else. If you're a business owner and all you do is work, we need to have a conversation because you shouldn't be doing that. You started your own business because you wanted to call the shots. You didn't want to be an employee in your own business. So, just saying. So all of this is outside of your work, okay? So what now are your priorities? What do you really, truly want to focus? If you're 50 pounds overweight and you feel like shit, and you know that you probably should start losing weight so you don't become diabetic, or you don't have knee issues, or ankle problems, or back problems, or any other health problem, do you really, truly want to focus on your health and wellness? If so, put it down. I know sometimes it might be scary putting something down that we're like, ooh, do I really want to do this? It could be wealth. Do you know about wealth? Do you know about finances? Do you know about money? Who taught you? Maybe you need to start learning about it. Maybe you're like 50 or 40 and you haven't even started saving for retirement yet. Now's probably a good time to put that as one of your priorities. Okay, so I want you to rework your list of priorities, and when you're done with doing your list of priorities, so this is list number 3, I want you to put done in the comments. Y'all didn't know you were signing up for a class today, did you? I love it. So many people. Hello, Christine and Michael and Robert and Nepal and Paul and Francine and Hector, Becky, Cindy, Abigail. Hello, Kathy, Nadine, Noman, a cool name, Roberto, ooh la la, Elizabeth. All right, so go ahead and put done in the comments. So Christy's done, Holly's done, Thelma's done. Awesome. Okay, Shelly's done. Okay, so now what I want you to do is list number 2, okay? So, come hell or high water, what must you do? And I want you to pick one thing from each of your priorities to do every single day. So, like one of my priorities is I do my checkbook every single day. Well, okay, I do my finances every single day. So, what does that mean? I check all my accounts. And it only takes about 10 or 15 minutes because I log in. I don't save my passwords because I just don't do it. So I log into my accounts manually and I reconcile everything and I look at my incoming, I look at my outgoing. Perfect. But that is one of, come hell or high water, I do that every single day. Sometimes not on the weekends, but Monday through Friday, absolutely, every single day. So I want, like I said, take one thing. So one of your things is health and wellness. Perfect. What is one thing every single day that you will do that will absolutely directly impact your health and wellness? What is that? Is it walking for 20 minutes? Is it taking supplements? And I mean, you can have more than 4 things that you do every single day, but like, what come hell or high water do you need to start doing if you have not done so already? Like for me, I can't take like medications. So my meds for my panic and anxiety and mild depression are my supplements. They're mega doses of D3. They're mega doses of fish oil. They're cilantro, which detoxes, for like heavy metals and whatnot. It is, what else do I take? Calcium, I take probiotics. That's for gut health. That absolutely impacts your mental health. I take my protein shake, which has like all the BCAAs and all that stuff in it. So I also walk. I also get outside every day. All of that directly correlates with my health and well-being. I stretch, I do yoga. So give yourself permission to look at each of your priorities and say, okay, what thing can I do? Like, what's one thing that I can do that directly correlates with each of these priorities? Like with my wealth, that's checking all my accounts. Check my accounts so that I'm in the know. So many people avoid their finances because it's scary for them. Maybe they are not bringing in enough money, so they're like, fuck. Or they've just gotten complacent, okay? So when you're done with list number 2 and thinking, okay, what's one thing that I know I can commit to for each of my priorities? What's one thing that I can make a non-negotiable? Maybe it could be going to the gym. It could be calling your parents if they're elderly. Or even if they're not elderly, calling your children or snapping your kids. I Snapchat my kids every single day. So when you're finished with list number 2, go ahead and write finished in the comments. And then we will move on. Hello, Renee. Hello, Mike. Thank you, Michael. Michael, so good. All right, so when you're finished with list number 2, go ahead and write finished. Hello, Bethany. Christy said finished. Perfect. So good. Yeah, this is like one of my favorite exercises to do because it really gets you seeing, like, whoa, this is how I spend my days and these are my priorities and it does not match up. So how can I fix this? And this also gives you a little bit more of a feeling of a sense of control and a feeling of intentionality so that you truly start to create and have your dream life by default, by the things that you do every day. So Shelly said finished. Holly said finished, making self-care a priority over cleaning. Yes, so good. All right, let's see. All right, Christy, Bethany, awesome. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to list number 1. And list number 1 is the things that you spend the most time doing throughout the day. So I want you to look at your previous list, okay? And look at what can you eliminate or just curb. Now, when I did this, I looked at my list number 1 and I put social media / phone, which includes TikTok, oh my God, I love TikTok. TikTok, I don't make TikToks. I probably never will, but I love watching it. And that's also a way that I connect with my kids because we share TikToks that we like. We'll just like, oh my God, this is so funny. So TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Snapchat. So taking care of the animals, cooking / cleaning, and walking. So that's what I felt like. I mean, I could actually do probably a time journal, and that is a really easy, effective way to actually recognize what you're spending your time on and just actually just documenting. But these are the things that I really had to reflect on. I'm like, yeah. And I like cooking things from scratch. And so from scratch, that typically means things take much longer because you're not just popping open a box or a can or a tin of something. You're actually cooking it from scratch. So the walking part, yes, absolutely I kept. The cooking and cleaning, I love the cooking part. The cleaning, not so much. So we're actually looking at getting a Roomba, which I'm super pumped about. Since we live in the desert, we have to sweep every day now, which I'm not thrilled, but, and then taking care of animals. Of course, like I said, I shifted my mindset on that, which was huge. And then for social media. So for the social media part, I was like, okay, I'm not going to curb my connection with the boys. So that's the Snapchat, that's the TikTok. And I use Facebook and Instagram for work, but it's the other mindless scrolling that I'm going to curb. And so again, recognizing what you're doing and how you can be more mindful of what you're doing, or even just saying, you know what, I'm just going to scrap that all together and just do something else entirely. So what I want you to do is I want you to say, okay, so what blocks of time do I have the most of? Like, is it the block of time when you're driving to and from work? Is it the block of time after work? And what do you typically do? And can you start to be more intentional about that time? So let's just say that your drive is 30 to 45 minutes to drive to work, each day. Maybe education or self-help is one of your priorities. So you could start to listen to audiobooks on your drive to work. Perfect. Hang on. I'm going to plug in my phone. Just a minute. So, all right. So I want you to think about, how can you creatively think about and look at the time that you spend during the day and those pockets of time that you have. How can you be more intentional so that you can then match up all 4 of your daily activities to your priorities? Okay, so when I shifted my mindset about caring for the animals, that's really part of my high vibe space. And being in joy and feeling fulfilled about my life. I love my animals, even though sometimes they're a pain in the ass. Like last night, my oldest cat, she threw up on this mat, and I was like 3 times. She threw up right in a row. I was like, Kitty, everything she just ate, and I was like, oh, dang it. So I was loving on her and stuff, and then when she's was like, okay, I'm good, I cleaned that up, and then I went outside and I hosed it off. And so it takes time. So I had to really shift how I felt and how I think about that. And I'm like, is this part of my priorities? Yes, it is, because I love my animals. And that's part of my high vibe joy space. So Christy said a non-negotiable is personal development. Spend 30 minutes a day. And there's a reason I needed to be on this call today. And check that off the list today. Woo, woo, perfect. I love it. Oh, that's so good. Okay, so think of those pockets of time. Again, this is very important. Think of those pockets of time that you have, and what do you want to do in those pockets of time? Spending, okay, so list number 2 is come hell or high water, I will do this every single day. So that is a non-negotiable. Number 1, so we're reversing these lists. So list number 1 is, what do you spend the most time on during the day? Again, look at those big pockets of time. And most of us, Netflix, social media, we just kind of, numb out. We just kind of go, oh yeah, and we just kind of go on autopilot. That's so normal, especially in nowadays when everybody's stuck at home with the COVID thing. And really not being able to do those things that we normally would do. Now, here in Arizona, there's not really a ton of restrictions that I've noticed. We go to the dog park, nobody's wearing masks. We go everywhere that we've gone. I mean, when you go into grocery stores, I would say about 3/4 of the people are wearing masks. But I mean, it's pretty much just business as usual here. Same thing was up in Wisconsin. Other states are still closed down. There's tons of restrictions and whatnot. So allowing yourself to really look at what you love to do, what's part of your priorities, and how can you really intentionally bring those things into those big pockets of time during your day. Okay? One of mine is connecting with my animals and just that kind of family connection thing. Another one is being outside. Another one is getting exercise. Walking fulfills all three of those. So allow yourself to think creatively and intentionally about this. One of mine is also physical fitness in another sense, just besides walking, because walking is just my legs, you know what I'm saying? And so I like to do stretching. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't have time for this. Well, no, it only takes me like 5 or 10 minutes to do like the sun salutation, which is a really nice yoga flow. And I literally whip out my mat and set my timer for 10 minutes, especially if I'm feeling resistance to it. I'm like, I know that I should, I know that I want to, and I know that I feel really good after. However, when I feel that resistance, I'm like, 10 minutes. That's it, just 10 minutes. I set the timer and I'm like, all right, I'm good. And then usually I end up ignoring the timer because I get down there and I'm like, oh God, this feels so good. So I do more. Okay, but again, look at what your priorities are and the kind of life that you want to intentionally create by default by the actions that you do every single day. So when you're done with list number 1, I want you to write complete in the comments. I keep itching my face. I got cat hair on it. I was petting my cat right before this. So go ahead and write complete in the comments. All right, woohoo! Christy is complete. So good. So freaking good. So now that you have done this exercise with me, both forward and backward, and you've reevaluated everything, how do you feel? Write in the comments how you feel about this exercise, about this whole thing. Holly says complete. Woohoo! Good. So how do you feel? Hello, Christy. So another thing that I want you to do is I want you to tag someone in the comments and say, hey, this is an awesome free class. I just took it. It was freaking amazing. You know, do yourself a solid, and I don't even know how long we've been on here, but do yourself a solid, take this class. It is amazing, and follow Flora. Yay, Holly says she feels inspired. Woohoo! Oh, that's so good. That's so freaking good. You know, like I said, this is one of the easiest ways to get out of the funk, and this is one of the easiest ways to get out of that feeling like you're in Groundhog Day. You know, again, if you haven't watched the video or that movie, watch it. Groundhog Day with Bill Murray. It is hysterical. Essentially, he relives the same day over and over and over and over again. And it's like, oh my God, seriously. So, Shelly said, complete and I have a plan. Nice. Christy said, so good, ready to tackle my business stuff. Phone's going down and getting all my self-care stuff and housework done. So after school, it's time with my daughter, and then I can do some more work after dinner. Perfect. Hi, Irene. Awesome. Okay, so like I said, what I want you to do is I want you to share this with a friend that you feel needs to get out of a funk, or that you feel just might need a little bit of a refresher in your life. You know, so many people live on kind of that default mode where we get up and we do our stuff and then we just, I mean, that's it. It's like literally like living in the movie called, you know, Groundhog Day. We're just kind of doing the same thing over and over. It's like we're in this hamster wheel. And, you know, other people, however, live very intentionally and they're like, I will do this, I will do this, I will do this. They make it a priority. They weave these actions into their day intentionally because of where they know they want to be, where they know they want to not end up, because life is not about the destination, it's truly about the journey. Well, this makes the journey so much more enriching because you know you're doing things every single day that fill you up, that are in alignment with what you want. So, you know, share this on your page, tag the people, I almost said tackle. people that you love in the comments. Let them know you just took this class. Share it with them in Messenger. Say, hey, I just took this class from one of my coaches and mentors, Flora. She's amazing. This is a really awesome class. Holy shit. Kind of blew my mind. And I'm telling you, when we spread the love, that is when we all can create a ripple effect of hope and excitement and inspiration. And my job here is to help you create a life that you're excited about. Like, that truly is my passion and my mission. Lay it on them, tackle your peeps too, right? I love it. All right, I hope this serves you today. I hope this serves you not only today, but every single day that you use this method. And also, like I said, use this class anytime that you feel you're in a funk, or you just feel kind of unmotivated, or you feel like you're just not really feeling fulfilled. And this is going to help you reevaluate where you are, where you want to be, and how to intentionally bring things into your day that make a difference and that matter to you. So I love you so much. Please like, comment, share this with all your people. And I hope to see you here tomorrow, where we're going to be doing live group readings. I love you. Have a fabulous rest of your day. Mwah.